Hey there, Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto, looking at this 1996 Suzuki Jimny K-Car class version. That's a 660cc turbocharged engine with the F6A engine. This is a JA22 generation Jimny, and so that makes it a third? I don't know. I think it's third. Okay, very cool, iconic little 4x4 mountain goat, short wheelbase, very narrow, very easy to get anywhere you want on the mountain because of that, and geared to win as well. It has high gear ratio and low gear ratio, so the itty bitty little 64 horsepower engine doesn't matter so much. It is an ultra light, ultra small footprint, very capable 4x4 vehicle with a ton of aftermarket support here in Japan. It seems like everybody that recreationally goes 4x4ing in Japan has one of these, or at least 90+% of them do. Now this is an auction inspection purchase video. We're going to go over the condition of it, then we're going to be exporting the car right away. This one, I believe it's going to the USA. I'll double check that. 157,242 kilometers on it. Switch the engine off for now. I will say engine, no problems at all. These engines, the F6A, are in a ton of Suzuki vehicles in all sorts of different versions. This one is a twin cam turbo version of it. You can see the twin cam, itty bitty little head there, 3-cylinder, tiny little intercooler, and yes, it has a functional hood scoop to feed that intercooler. And then let's go see our teeny little turbo. Okay, so the coolant looks like it was recently replaced. The oil looks like it is okay. It has a stock air filter box. It has the intake manifold, has something that was taken off. It was probably something for emissions. Don't know, actually. Don't know the car well enough to know where this hose eventually goes. We also have a taped on socket here, so maybe that was having some issues at one point. And some tape over a suspension piece. Now, I don't know why some tape was put there, but if you take a look, there's probably some rubber grommet that is supposed to go there. And now there is no rubber grommet to go there. So it has just been taped over. I did peel it up. There isn't anything that's concerning looking in there. So I'll just put that tape back. Okay, close the hood here. Overall, my impressions of this one are pretty good. You do have to worry about rust for these Jimnys, but this one looks to be pretty much rust-free. It looks like it did have some rust in the sills, but it was fixed with a repaint. Paint is not so great on this one, and that's one of the biggest problems with it. Probably the biggest problem is some paint. It has some fade and whatnot. I'll get back into that in a second. I did get a laundry list of special things to check on this one. I did check all of that, and that's not going to be included in this video. It'll be on an auxiliary video that comes with this. But let's go ahead and translate this sheet for you. It's a 96 Jimny. This is a Wild Wind version. There's not much difference between the regular version and the Wild Wind version. You get different decals and seats. I think that's it. And I think you get this spoiler and a hard case for your rear tire. This says Wild Wind. That can only be used with OEM-sized tires. Luckily, this one is still on the OEM-sized tires despite a 2-inch lift-up. Okay, so 157, 161, authentic mileage on this. It's a 5-speed manual. Most of them are, but you can also get them with automatic. 660cc engine. 4-wheel drive, of course, all of them are. It's an auction grade RA because it's been in an accident. More details on that is written down here. Auction grade for the interior is C and exterior is D, mostly due to some bad paint. It does have a few other things than the paint, but very few. And it also says U2 on both doors, which is a medium dent, but I didn't really find those. So, win there. Okay, so the report here says some aftermarket parts. The seller said that, some aftermarket parts. The seller also said purchase from user, Strata navigation system that's not installed particularly well. Actually, it's installed horribly. They cut the dashboard to put it in, and it just sags there and gets hit by the shift lever every time you shift into first or third or fifth. Really annoying. Digital TV tuner, aftermarket steering wheel. Again, aftermarket steering wheel was a silly idea because it doesn't give you... Let me explain this. People need to stop doing this. It's one of my least favorite things on Jimneys or Delicas. Seems to be the thing. You put this sports steering wheel on, and now you don't have room for a hand in between the turn signal. See? Unless you want to drive with the high beams on all the time. Sell this to somebody who wants to go racing. It is a very nice steering wheel. It does have a little bit of wear, but it's made out of leather, so it can be refurbished before you sell it. Momo Corsa steering wheel. Looks like it's a 33 centimeter, which is fine size. And go get an original one or an aftermarket one that is offset a little bit. You don't even need that much. An extra centimeter would prevent the problem, unless you have meaty hands. Okay. And aftermarket alloy wheels. Yep, it came with these ones. Boom. And they're winter tires. It also came with these ones, which were probably bought at the same time. They're both a 2022 tire. They both have full tread on them. Pick your tires and go. This car was probably only registered in 2022 as well, because this plate has only been available since 2020. You could, I think, spend extra to get the Special Olympics plate. Okay, back to the sheet. So front cross member is dented and front tire house has screw holes in it. Let's go have a look at that. So we have a little bit of misalignment here with that grill piece, and that might be part of the accident repair. Oh yeah, it's in the glove box on this side. Hood pop. Shouldn't have lowered the hood there, but I forgot we were going to be checking for nejis, Japanese word for screws. Okay, hood prop. We are a go. Okay, that's just holding the grill in place. That screw there. And that would be the screw that they're talking about, I think. HID headlight conversion. Very popular here in Japan. Personally, not a big fan. I like HID headlights, don't get me wrong, but I don't like extra auxiliary wiring in the car. Especially ballasts that are that small, probably cheap. Yep, I don't see anything to be concerned about in here. That's all lining up fine. That's all lining up fine. Look at this, aftermarket hinges. The door hinges, yes, those are external hinges. Door hinges, hood hinges, and rear door hinges. I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't need to be talking about these. And a little bit of rust coming down from basically all of them. Take these off and fix that rust before it becomes a big issue. It's probably only very minor. Close the hood. This is an ADD version of the report. I'm not doing things in order. My apologies. Okay, so console has been modified. Seat is ripped. I didn't see a ripped seat, but I know where these seats always rip. Right here. There's your seat rip. Found it. Oh no! Bad car. It has a seat rip. The interior is actually pretty good. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think actually this car is pretty good considering everything that's written on here. Interior dirty, headliner ripped, just a small one. I got a picture of that. Steering wheel wear, interior has screw holes. Yeah, unfortunately there are. I don't like them, but such is life. Underside surface rust, and keep in mind these are all things we knew about it before we bid on the car. Exterior has shallow scratches. Dashboard has a glue on it. Aftermarket suspension. Underside has been painted. Looks like no rust on the underside as well. Winter tires, and rear tire cover has paint peeling, and then U2 that I couldn't find. W2, W1, 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 W1. So basically a full repaint except for on the roof, which is bad paint, P3. And they didn't mention it, but on the cowl here. which on this car, oddly, is part of the roof. Look, it's a one piece from the roof. Well, kind of. A welded on section. It comes down here, and then one piece there. So you would paint this at the same time as you paint the pillars and the roof. And then it has a rain guard separating the rest. And look at this, spoiler for downforce. You want that chimney downforce, don't you? And it looks like a third brake light goes in here sometimes, but not on this one. Oh, and do you want to go to Yubara Onsen? Onsen is like the hot springs where you go and eat expensive food. Yeah, apparently there's like, I don't know how this works for advertising, but you go to the onsen and potentially get chainsawed? I don't know. Kind of weird. Okay, so sheet has all been translated. Let's do a once around tour. Okay, it doesn't look like it's been lifted that much, but the extra 2 inches will make a difference. This thing is, I think in footprint size, smaller than a Lupo. Like that one. It is a K car, and you don't get the wide fenders, right? So people know about the Suzuki Samurai, which is the North American version of this. But they only came with the older version than this. I know it looks very similar, but this is one generation newer, and doesn't have the leaf springs anymore, so it's coil springs all the way around. Still solid axle front and rear, though. And then what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the Samurai has widened fenders, just like the Jimny Sierra has. Yes, you can get this with a 1.3 liter engine here in Japan as well. It's rather rare, although you get like 75 or 80 horsepower with that one, or 85 maybe. It is a bit heavier, and it's quite a bit rarer because you get a lot cheaper taxes here in Japan for K vehicle, and so it's no doubt that they sold more of these with the cheaper tax version. Okay, so aftermarket grille, as I showed you, it doesn't quite fit in there properly, but it doesn't stand out too much, as you can see. It comes with integrated fog lights. It's part of the active field version. And then, yeah, that plate's got to come off. Here's your ducting. You can put this onto other cars if you need to have a top-mount intercooler, but then you would lose it for this car. Okay, bad paint on the top. I already kind of mentioned that, but it goes all the way across. Okay, a little bit of rust on the windshield wipers. You get an extra mirror here. This is cool because it shows you from the driver's position to this mirror, straight down here, so you can see how far away you are. If you're going off-roading, the entire side is completely flat. So you can just stick your head out the window and see exactly how close you are to everything. It's fantastic. This side, unless you've got the world's longest neck or torso, you can't do it. And so they give you a little mirror here to look down the side to see how far you are away from trees on this side. And it's very, very narrow. And so getting between trees, the only way to do it easier than this is on a bicycle. Okay, manual locking hubs, so you know when they're locked. You have some aftermarket suspension bits. This, somebody who's got to tell me what this one is called. Panhard bar? It's the one that makes sure that when you lift it or lower it, it's adjustable so that your tracking is correct. I know what it does, I just don't know what it's called. A little bit of, just showing you a little bit of surface rust right there. And yeah, there's rust underneath these, so these all basically have to come off and be re-prepped. Paint them and then screw them on again. Okay, coming down here, it's looking all really good. The paint has been repainted. You can tell if you know what you're looking for, but if you don't, it just looks like a really clean body. Very nice indeed. Okay, some stickers on the back, some fade on the top of this. Also, this person loved fishing. Have a look. Every sticker there is for a fishing store. Fishing is my hobby, and I don't care who knows. And this one here, we were having a good laugh. Yes, we love fishing, yellow guys. And I think it's supposed to be, yes, we like fishing, yellow guys. Not, yes, we like fishing, yellow guys, like you're going to go fishing for guys that are yellow. That's peeling off a little bit, so maybe you can remove these stickers. And then it has like a reflective green tint on this window, the back one, and the one on the other side. Okay. And yeah, not much to say about the side over here. It's all looking pretty good. Good. On both sides, there has been some rebuilding of this section here. It potentially had some rust at one point, but the pinch weld is all looking perfect. And so that has not been redone. That's always the giveaway, is you look at the pinch weld, because it tends to be one of the first things that rust. This one, obviously very good. And the only reason you can tell is because there are tiny little, like, not completely flat sections. And yeah, you're getting a little bit of a different sound. But the frame, solid and good everywhere that I could see. So that's nice. Let's go to the interior now. It's a tiny car, so don't expect it to have a lot of cargo capacity unless you want to run it as a two-seater, which I guess a lot of people can. These seats double flip, so they'll do the flip to give you more room in the back, and you get a little pull string to do that. Otherwise, good luck putting stuff in here. You might as well just throw it on top of the rear seats. There's space for legs, but not a lot. More space than the generation before it, I will say. You know you can get these, the old ones with the two-stroke engine. How many cars do you know that are two-stroke? Not a lot. And they actually had a lot of power, because it's a two-stroke 360cc, and I think it was like 40 horsepower or something like that. Pretty crazy. Anyway, screw holes here in the door card. Crank style windows, love it. Screw holes here in the dashboard and this section. Aftermarket steering wheel. More modern looking gauges than the generation beforehand, that's for sure. Decent condition seats with just a little bit of sagginess on the bottom cushion right here. Okay, let me show you the do-it-yourself brake pedals that I would personally take off. And we have the e-brake on. Yep. First, second, fifth. Yeah. Then screw holes here, and this used to be a single DIN section, so half the size. And then it had an ashtray and cigarette lighter adapter. Cigarette lighter has been moved over to here with some USB stuff. And it's just kind of in there. Has been smoked in, but doesn't smell like it. I would give it a 3 out of 10. There's a cigarette actually in there. Cool little see-through clock. Headliner tear is right here. You should put a Band-Aid on there. That would be cute. Okay, air fresheners are in here. And yeah, it smells like air freshener, but not heavily so. Floor rug is fine. That's just how they are. They're just ripped there. Kind of funny. Okay, rear seats. They're there if you need them, but basically for emergencies only. And cup holders have been put into the door cards. Cars that don't have cup holders can sometimes have those. Older cars in particular. Cup holders in cars didn't become a thing until the 80s, and this is kind of a much older car than, it is a 1996. But it's a chimney. It's like 10 or 15 years beforehand. It's more classic, I like to say. Anyways, that's going to be all for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.